Thanks a lot for staying with us. Let's get you a roundup of some of the day's biggest stories. The death toll from the devastating landslide in Manipur's Noni district has risen to 18.
More bodies of Territorial Army personnel were pulled out from under the debris. The landslide took place at 107 Territorial Army camp near a railway construction site. The railway line was being built from Jiribam district to Imphal, and the Territorial Army was providing security. A mammoth security operation is on as more personnel are fear trapped. Bulldozers are being used to make the incident site accessible. But the landslide has obstructed the flow of a river and created a dam-like water body. This could lead to flooding in low-lying areas if the debris are removed.
Coastal Karnataka is reeling from massive floods, leading to severe flooding in Dakshin Kannada and Mangaluru. Normal life has been thrown out of gear with water entering people's homes and roads turning into rivers. But even as their constituencies are underwater, a delegation of 15 Karnataka MLAs have gone to a junket to Leh Ladakh. It's been called a study tour, but they're getting heavily criticized for abandoning their constituencies at such a critical time. Kerala's capital, Thiruvananthapuram, is tense after a bomb was hurled at the ruling CPIM's office.
CCTV footage shows a person on a bike stopping and throw an explosive substance at the gate of the AK Gopalan Center.
This wall, basically through which the explosive was thrown, it was just one explosive is what we are learning at the moment. It was thrown over here. So far, there's no concrete evidence as to who did this and what is the reason for this.
CPM alleges that the Congress was behind the incident.
Congress and UDF don't want this kind of a democratic discussion. They want to create chaos in the state.
The Congress, however, rejected the allegation.
It is totally baseless, and that immediate reaction from there is a suspectable matter.
Both parties have been at loggerheads ever since members of CPIM student wing vandalized Congress MP Rahul Gandhi's office in Wayanad last month.
In fact, Congress MP Rahul Gandhi visited his office in Wayanad, which was vandalized by SFI members last week. While he called the incident unfortunate, he said he does not have any hostility or anger over it because violence doesn't resolve problems. A day before BJP's national executive in Hyderabad, party president JP Nadda held a massive roadshow in the city today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the entire top brass of the party will be in Hyderabad for the two-day event. The meeting will lay out a roadmap for next year's assembly elections in Telangana. Clashes broke out between BJP and Congress workers in Telangana's Warangal today. The trigger was Agnipath, the new recruitment scheme for the Indian Armed Forces. Congress workers staged a protest against the scheme outside BJP's office, but they were soon confronted by BJP workers and things took an ugly turn. The economic crisis in Sri Lanka is deepening and residents are virtually under lockdown now. Fuel supply has been halted for private vehicles till the 10th of July. Residents have been advised to stay and work from home in order to curtail transport. As of now, only health services and food transport services are being provided fuel. The Sri Lankan government has already closed all public schools. Given the enormity of the economic shortages of essentials and electricity is only going to worsen. There was high drama in Punjab's Dera Bassi after a cop opened fire on a man.
The incident happened at a checkpost where a group of people were stopped by the cop. He wanted to check a woman's bag. When the group refused permission, the policeman started arguing with them, even slapping a woman. Her family members confronted the cops, leading to a fight during which the cop shot a man in the thigh. According to the victims, the cop was drunk and had misbehaved with the group. When they resisted, he opened fire in a fit of rage. But the cop claimed he fired in self-defense. The police officer has been suspended and a case has been filed against him.
After CNN News 18 reported that Kanhaiya Lal's murder was possibly plotted in Pakistan, there's another sensational link. One of the killers, Riaz, paid extra to get 2611 as the license plate number on his bike. Riaz and the other accused, Mohammad Ghosh, used the same bike to flee from Udaipur after beheading Kanhaiya, but they were caught on the outskirts of the city.
रियाज अख्तारी और घोष मोहम्मद ने कन्हैया लाल की हत्या करने के बाद में एक बाइक पर बैठकर उदयपुर के उस मालदा स्ट्रीट से फरार हुए थे। वो बाइक यहीं पर उदयपुर के धान मंडी थाने के अंदर रखी हुई है और इस बाइक का नंबर गौर से आप देखिए, RJ 27 AS 2611। प्रीमियम के 5,000 रुपये दिए स्पेशल नंबर के लिए। कब मुंबई अटैक हुआ उसके बाद में ये बाइक खरीदी गई।
Delhi High Court has sought a response from the police over Alt News co-founder Mohammad Zubair's plea challenging his arrest. Delhi police have been given 4 weeks to respond. Meanwhile, the Enforcement Directorate is probing Zubair's finances. The agency claims Zubair received 56 lakhs in 3 months. Surat police managed to nab a group of gangsters in a dramatic chase straight out of the movies.
Members of the Chiklikar gang were trying to escape in a car, but they were surrounded by a group of men who were armed with batons. They turned out to be policemen dressed in plain clothes who were there on a tip-off. The car driver made no attempt to stop the vehicle, but anticipating this, the cops had already parked a JCB machine a few meters away. As the car slowed down, the cops banged on the vehicle with their batons, shattering the windows. The cops had stopped traffic on both sides of the road to prevent the criminals from fleeing. Finally, at the end of a 2-hour operation, 3 gang members were caught.
A day after Eknath Shinde was sworn in as the new Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Shiv Sena MP Sanjay Raut was grilled by the Enforcement Directorate in the Patra Chaul land scam case. Before appearing, Raut said he is fearless and denied any wrongdoing. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma has filed a defamation case against Delhi's Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia. This after Sisodia accused Sarma of malpractice in giving contracts for COVID PPE kits when he was the state's health minister. Sisodia had claimed he had the documents to back that. A plea has been filed in the Delhi High Court seeking a change in the call sign on Indian aircrafts. The call sign VT stands for Victorian and Viceroy territory. That's why it's been seen as a legacy from the British Raj. A call sign is meant for identifying an aircraft. It's also the national code of the aircraft. The plea in the High Court seeks a change in the call sign in order to secure India's sovereignty. Former NDA ally Shiromani Akali Dal has decided to support NDA's presidential candidate Draupadi Murmu. SAD chief Sukhbir Singh Badal said that they would not ever go with the Congress because of the atrocities they had committed on the Sikh community. Even as the Ukraine war is dragging on for more than 4 months, Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke to Russian President Vladimir Putin and reiterated India's stand. The phone call comes days after Modi was invited to the G7 summit in Germany, where Russia's invasion was a big talking point. After 18 people were killed in a missile attack on a Ukrainian mall, evidence is being collected to prove whether it's a Russian war crime.
This surveillance footage shows a Russian anti-ship cruise missile capable of carrying a 2,200-pound warhead hitting the Amsterdam Mall in Kremenchuk. And this is the devastating aftermath, the complex completely obliterated. The chief prosecutor of this region is collecting evidence to prove Moscow intentionally targeted innocents.
There are 2 operations happening simultaneously here. Emergency workers clearing the rubble and trying to find the bodies of the missing. At the same time, Ukrainian investigators and prosecutors collecting evidence for what they say are Russian war crimes.
Russia says it is not to blame for what happened here. It claims its warplane struck a hangar packed with US and European supplied weapons, and that those Western weapons detonated afterwards, causing this fire. Ukrainian President Zelensky has called it an act of terrorism and called on the UN Security Council to expunge Russia as a permanent member.
Hundreds of Syrian paratroopers took part in a joint drill with their Russian counterparts in the war-torn country. It's the second joint drill between both nations in June and is aimed at diversifying readiness of troops. Russia has been militarily involved in Syria since 2015. Joint air drills were also held in June near the Israel border. Another drill was held in February before Russia invaded Ukraine. The death toll from the toxic gas leak in Jordan has now risen to 30.
A crane loading chlorine tanks onto a ship in Jordan's Aqaba port dropped one of them, causing an explosion. A cloud of toxic yellow smoke quickly envelops the ship and the dock, sending workers scrambling to escape it. The toxic gas leak killed 13 and sickened 250 others.
يعني كنا بالدوام شمينا ريحة غاز وصار معنا يعني زي اختناق.
Jordan's Prime Minister flew to Aqaba and ordered Interior Minister Mazen Faraya to oversee an investigation into the incident.
As floods continue to ravage Assam, Silchar remains one of the worst affected because of the nearby Barak River, which is still very much above the danger mark.
For the last 10 days, Silchar has remained underwater, and now there is fear of an outbreak of waterborne diseases. While essential items are in short supply, authorities are working day and night to help the people.
We are reaching to all persons in all states, and we are providing relief to everyone.
Drones are being deployed to prepare a flood map of Silchar in order to identify the extent of the damage.
A time-lapse video of a massive supercell thunderstorm dumping rain over a farm in Canada is going viral. The video was captured by storm chaser Jenny Hagen around sunset. Our supercell is a rare thunderstorm with a deep, persistent rotating updraft and are responsible for tornadoes. A giant wildfire in Northern California has prompted emergency evacuations in the area. The Rice's fire spread from 100 acres to 530 acres within 3 hours. The cause of the fire is under investigation. Beijing claims the US Navy has reportedly sent a warship to the South China Sea. The USS Benfold destroyer has entered the South China Sea, and a US anti-submarine aircraft has also flown over Taiwan Straits. The PLA's Eastern Theater Command is tracking the US destroyer. China claims jurisdiction over parts of the South China Sea. China has announced military exercises as well in this area. North Korea has blamed South Korea for the first COVID outbreak in the country. North Korea claimed patients touched alien things near the border with South Korea. For years, activists have flown balloons across the border to distribute leaflets critical of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. North Korea has criticized South Korea for not stopping them. Single-use plastic has been banned across the country. This is in a bid to reduce the growing plastic pollution. Single-use plastic is typically discarded after being used only once and does not go for any recycling. That's why it's one of the biggest contributors to plastic pollution. Some sports action. Olympic gold medalist Nira Chopra broke his own national record for the second time in a month. Neeraj finished second at the Stockholm Diamond League with a massive first throw of 89.94 meters. He finished second at the event and was left just excruciatingly short of the 90-meter one. It was a narrow miss for this Malaysian woman. She was riding pillion on a scooter when a basketball-sized coconut fell on her head, knocking her off the bike. The woman escaped with minor injuries thanks to her helmet. With that, it's a wrap from me. On the other side, my colleague Ayushman is joining you with Epicenter.